Friday. This week I did it my way. I made lots of juice and now I feel a boost. Baby say, oh, it's the way I make my juice. Pressing fruits and roots. This week I did it my way. Baby say, oh, now let's have some fun. There is nothing greater than Fridays at Goodnature.
Ow, ow, ow! What's up, my juice lovers? Welcome to Goodnature Radio. This is your host, Charlie Wetlaufer, joined by nobody. I'm on this one doing it solo. I know you guys haven't heard from us in quite some time, and you may have heard rumors of Olivia's departure, and I just wanted to come on and sort of explain everything. I've been getting a lot of questions about it from people in our network and our podcast fans and our consulting clients, and I've also heard some rumors going around that are false about why she left and everything. So I just wanted to come on and sort of give an explanation because I think I owe you guys one. Since I've been basically promoting Olivia as part of the dream team and, one of the best consultants in the world for the last couple of years, and now she's gone. So I'll start with a little bit of background. So we met, I believe we met at JuiceCon in maybe 2018. And by the way, let me just put a disclaimer. I'm just doing this all off memory. I haven't gone back and looked at any, notes or dates or text messages or anything. I'm just going off of how I remember things. So I'll just be taken as my personal opinion. It might not be 100% accurate, but we'll try my best. So I think we met around 2018. She's a Goodnature customer, and she's great on social media. She's charismatic. She's engaging. She's very good at speaking authoritatively about, running a juice bar and the topics she knows about. And then she was in Texas once, and we agreed to do a podcast together in Austin a couple years later. And then, in the back of my mind, I was like, man, it'd be great to have Olivia as part of the team someday. I think she'd bring a lot to the table. Number one, the expertise of running a juice bar business. The front of house stuff, the operations, the marketing, how to get people through your door and all that, which she, that's like her domain, and then also, since she is good on social media, I thought she could bring in some extra revenue to the company, some extra customers, some new audience, So, and then maybe a year or so later, she reached out to me and said that she was looking to step outside of her juice bar a little bit and start doing some consulting. She had already done a little bit. She wants to do more. So, and she was going to be in San Antonio soon, and I live in Austin, so we agreed to meet halfway between. We met at a Whataburger in the morning and had a coffee. For those of you who don't know Whataburger, it's a Texas staple. It's like a famous fast food burger place. So we met early. I don't know if it was 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or something, which was in between Austin and San Antonio, which is about an hour and a half total distance. And we came to an agreement right there at a Whataburger at 8 in the morning. We hashed out the details and the plan, and she was going to be working as an outside contractor. I'd be paying her a monthly service fee plus commission on the services that she performs for her customers. And we started working together. She was, one of the agreements was she go on Instagram every week and do an IG live and be engaged in social media and the Facebook group and everything. And then we also started doing the podcast every week. And, my reservations for bringing her onto the team was, number one, I knew it was going to take up a lot of my time because the podcast takes a lot of my time. I am the producer and I edit the podcast, and, it's up to me to come up with the agenda every week, and I have to host the podcast. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of mental effort to keep it going. And, onboarding a new higher level employee is very time consuming as well. And managing a new person, like every time you hire someone, I mean, technically she's an outside contractor, but it's kind of like hiring her. Every time you bring someone onto your team as a manager, it takes up a chunk of your time, right? Training, onboarding, managing the relationship, dealing with customer service if someone's not happy, etc. So I had that reservation. And also, I always get a little nervous bringing in someone that is more of an entrepreneur and less of a salaried employee, because they usually like to do things their own way and are difficult to manage. But I figured it was worth the risk. I was really excited about the partnership. And so she joined the team. We started promoting her services, put her on the website, started the podcast, started marketing the front of house stuff. And, she brought with her, or she was working with her graphic designer, Celia, at the time, who had agreed to do the branding graphic design work just as sort of a side hustle for us, because she also had her own full-time job. And so it was going okay for a while. I think the podcast has been a lot of fun. I think our customers really enjoy it. And I was very invested in the relationship. I was really excited to be working with Olivia and bring her on the team. And it was fun, we were having a good time. Consulting revenue increased a bit, but not, it was kind of taking on the extra overhead of the contractor relationship. Some months it would be a loss, some months we'd be profitable. It was definitely not a home run. Really, the services that people usually want from us are the services that Chef Ari provides, the more back of house recipes, cost of goods, becoming more profitable, that kind of stuff. And less graphic design, marketing. That stuff usually comes after someone's up and running for a while and wants to improve things, which is a smaller market segment for us. Our largest market segment for Goodnature is the startups, right? Because we sell juice machines. So you buy your juicer in the beginning, and then maybe you buy some consulting services at the same time. Consulting has never been a big part of Goodnature's revenue. We really provide it mostly as a service. But with the Olivia partnership, I was hoping it could become a bigger part of our revenue. So, and at the same time, Goodnature's equipment sales had been dropping. We had a great end of 2020, throughout 2021. It was unbelievable. It was one of the best years we ever had. There were low interest rates, so it was easy to start a business. There's lots of free money splashing around from COVID. There's a PPP money for businesses. There was free money for individuals. People were like furloughed with nothing to do and had money coming in. So there's a lot of money. So we sold a ton of juicers that year. But then halfway through 2022, things slowed down a lot when the economy started to shift. And so this was like a good way to try to sort of fill in the gap, because the consulting revenue is very profitable, right? It's a service. Services are the most profitable businesses. If you look at like law firms and banks, those are, or like consulting businesses are very, very profitable. So I thought, okay, look, I'll spend my time on this while we're waiting for Hummingbird, for the engineers to finish Hummingbird. I'll try to get our consulting revenue up to a meaningful amount. And it was okay in the beginning. But then maybe midway through, maybe Q3 of 2023, I put together these turnkey packages with sort of big price tags, anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 for these packages. And that really changed things. When we started selling these team packages, all of a sudden consulting revenue started to be pretty significant, because it turned out people wanted this and we just had never been offering it before. So the end of 2023 was great for consulting, and I got all fired up. And we got so busy that Olivia and Celia couldn't really keep up with the work. A big part of that was that, as I said, Celia had another full-time job at the time. So I ended up offering them both full-time salaried positions at Goodnature at the end of 2023 with the goal that we're going to keep increasing consulting revenue going into 2024. So I bring them in, I offer them both what I think was healthy salaries, and they each accepted their offer. And so going into 2024, I was very excited. We added 2 people onto the Goodnature's payroll, which was a significant overhead for us at the time because, as I said, the equipment sales were not going well. And then going into 2024, the economy continued to not do that well, and the consulting revenue for the front of house services started to decline. So it was like, maybe I made a mistake here, taking on all this extra overhead. But things are still going pretty well. I mean, I think we're at least break even going into first few months of 2024 on the consulting side. And we had these turnkey packages we had sold at the end of 2023 after we started offering them that were still ongoing. We thought they'd hopefully only take 12 weeks, but it ends up taking 7 months, 8 months, these packages. So in hindsight, maybe it seemed like a lot of money at the time, but actually I think we should probably be charging more. Regardless, going through 2024 and the turnkey package sales slowed down. And then we're on a call with one of the clients in May, and she was getting closer to opening, so we're talking about when we can schedule the on-site training, which is part of the package. And she was thinking end of June would be good, and Olivia said, well, I'm flying to Europe in the beginning of June. And this was normal every summer. We had an agreement before she started working for us that she would work remote for 1 month a year in Spain in June, which I said, okay, I approved. So she told the client, well, I'll be flying to Europe in the beginning of June. And I said, when's your flight home? And she said, well, I don't think we're coming back, or we may not be coming back, or something like that. And I was like, oh, we're on the call with the client, so I was embarrassed that I didn't know this about my employee, my partner, that she had made a decision to move to Europe. So I tried to play it off like I knew. I'm like, oh yeah, haha, okay, yeah, I forgot. Whatever. I didn't want the client to think I don't know what's going on with my team, which is very strange because, I talk to my consulting team multiple times a week. We have a standing Monday call. We're on client calls. We talk directly. I mean, it was just very strange that I was just hearing about a month prior to the move that she was moving to Europe. That was shocking, and I just didn't even know what to make of it. Like, what is going on, So anyway, we get off the client call. I call Olivia, and I'm like, when were you going to tell me you're moving to Spain? And then she tried to play it off like, oh, well, they're not totally sure yet. They still are figuring out the details. But in the weeks after that, I pretty much learned that I believe that was bullshit, and she had been planning this for a long time. So at that point, the relationship started to unravel. I ended her employment and said I want to move her back to being outside contractor. I don't want to have employees in Europe. I've had employees overseas before, and I don't want to deal with it. We would have to abide by different employment laws, and just not something I'm interested in doing. And, she wasn't happy about that. She had expected that she could work remote from a different country on a 6-hour time difference and still get her nice salary and commission, and just work as like this nomad lifestyle. I don't know. It's just not something I was comfortable with. And if she had ever brought it up to me, she would have known that, but she didn't. And, in the weeks after that, I learned that there are all these moving parts to make it possible for her to move to Europe, including, well, I don't want to say too much about what she's doing because whatever, maybe she told me stuff in confidence, but let's just say there's stuff involving getting visas and stepping outside of her business and everything that all had to work itself out prior to being able to move overseas. And then I also recalled in one of our first meetings, I think when we were working out the contract, I believe it was before it was signed, we were on a call and we were talking about the 1 month, traveling to Europe for the month of June and working remote. And she had mentioned that someday she might like to maybe even move there and work remote permanently. And I had told her at that time that I don't think that would work for us, but we can talk about it. Like if that comes up, just bring it up to me and we can have a discussion then. Okay. And she didn't do that. And that really, I lost trust in her after that. This is where things started to go south. I felt like she had kept this from me, and I had really invested in this relationship and this partnership, and it's been spending a lot of time on the consulting. And I don't know what to say other than emotionally, I just felt sort of hurt by it, and like she had used me. That's how I felt at the time. That's how I still feel now. I felt like she had used me to make this life for herself without discussing it with me. And I had been very open and transparent with her about everything up until then. So I felt, I don't know. I'm still sort of processing everything. This was in May when I got the news, and then she moved to Spain in June. And then, and at the time when I learned that she was planning this move, I went back and I reviewed all the consulting numbers. I realized that the front of house services actually hadn't been profitable for several months. So it didn't really make sense. I mean, especially with her moving to a different country to keep the monthly salary going. So, what I had proposed is like, let's go back to outside contractor. We'll just pay you a very high commission rate. And she wasn't happy with that, but she finally agreed. And, and then when she got to Europe, she took vacation for the first couple of weeks. Then after vacation was over, she was continuously missing our weekly calls, missing consulting calls with clients. It was getting harder to get a hold of. I mean, it was exactly what I thought would happen when somebody moved overseas, I've dealt with this before. It's as a person, you're like, no, I'll be fine. I'll just work different hours and I'll just work in the evenings and whatever. But it's like, no, that's not how it works. That might work for like a week or two. But then you start to get into the actual time zone that you're in, and you have family and children, and it just doesn't work, So, yeah, so things then started to continue to go south. And I take some responsibility in things going south. After the surprise move to Spain, I think I stopped being so invested in the relationship. And I no longer felt like I wanted to put in any effort towards just bringing in income for her side of the business, because I just felt like I completely wasted my time for all these months. So I stopped really communicating with her as much, and just stop trying to think of ways to grow that side of the business. And at the same time, we're doing these weekly level up calls. So clients are paying us a monthly fee of $299 to get on these weekly calls with the consulting team. So it was me and Ari and Olivia, and then Celia was running the video calls. So 4 people I was paying full time to be on these calls, okay? And then I was also paying commission and the monthly fees. And it started off great when we started offering it. I don't remember when we started offering it. Earlier, maybe halfway through 2024. Wait, no. I don't know. February or something? I don't know. But the first month, we had like 21 or 22 people. It was great. The second month, we had maybe 18, and then 15, and then 12, and then I think we got down to 10 or something. And at that point, Ari was super busy. I mean, for some of the clients we have, he's making 40 custom recipes. We have to do all the R&D and all the testing and deliver all these logbooks and all this stuff. It was getting hard for him to be coming up with content every week. Olivia wasn't really coming up with any ideas anymore. So it's kind of falling back on me as usual. And I just asked Ari, I'm like, is this worth our time? He said, no. I said, I don't think so either. It's definitely not worth my time. If it's not worth your time, then let's just stop doing it. So we ended that. Olivia was kind of upset about that because, that was sort of this monthly income for her. And, but we had been talking about restarting it. It was like, well, maybe we do a different format. Maybe we'll do like a 6-week course. Or then I actually came up with the idea, what if Olivia just runs it on her own with Celia? And that idea sort of seemed to make sense. So then I think it was in maybe the first week of July, we had our weekly Monday meeting scheduled, and on the agenda for that week, I had let's relaunch Level Up with Olivia running it. She didn't show up for the Monday meeting again. But we had still planned it out. We're like, okay, this will be the format. Olivia will run it. We also talked about planning the next School of Juice Live at Southern Press Juicery. But Olivia missed a meeting, so I took notes. I'm like, we'll catch Olivia up next time we hear from her. And then the next day, I get a message from Olivia saying that she doesn't like how the relationship's been going, and she doesn't like that I canceled Level Up, and she feels like she's getting squeezed out and whatever. So she wants to part ways with Goodnature. And I said, okay, look, I agree. I guess I just can't get over the fact that you never discussed moving to Europe with me. Violated my trust. But in that same message, she had said that she'll continue to service the clients we have together. So that was my expectation, is that we'd finish out the contracts we had. But then a week later, I get an email from one of our consulting clients. She had forwarded me a flyer that Olivia sent out, who was starting her own competing Level Up mentorship group. So I'm like, okay, well, now she's soliciting Goodnature customers and competing with us. Now we have to completely end things, first of all, it's just a bad look. You don't leave an employer and start soliciting the employer's customers. That is a bad look. That shows a lack of integrity. And secondly, it's in violation of multiple terms of the contracts I have with her. I mean, a non-solicitation term is a very standard clause of any employment contract. Not to mention, we have non-competes in both the employment and the contractor agreement that I've had with her. I mean, those are harder to enforce, but the non-solicitation is easy. The confidential information, she took our customer contact information with her and is using it to compete with us now. So, I'm not happy about it. considering getting a lawyer involved. I haven't decided yet. I'll keep thinking about it, but I tend to find that going that route takes a lot of time and a lot of money and is not usually worth it. But I could if I wanted to. But I'm more inclined to just sort of focus on, improving Goodnature and the future. And we've got this exciting product launch coming up. I've been shooting lots of content on Hummingbird. And, I just don't want all this negativity in my life. So probably won't go the legal route. But I don't know. I might. I've dealt with this many times in the past. We've had equipment dealers do shady stuff, and then when I cut them off, they start competing companies and start selling other equipment or start building their own X1 knockoffs. That's happened multiple times. I've had salespeople leave and go to a different company and start contacting all of our customers. Some of them we've litigated, some of them we haven't. I guess the thing is when you have a brand, when you have a good reputable brand, people are constantly trying to take it from you. They're trying to take a little piece for themselves, They're after me Lucky Charms, I like to say. But I want to end this in a positive note. Number one, there are multiple people in my network that can fill in for these front of house services. I'm not by any means replacing Olivia. I'm not trying to add a full-time front of house consultant back to my team, but there are multiple people that I admire that run great juice bars that have offered to kind of fill in. So we do have a solution for that. And I've been talking to our clients, trying to keep them happy. I mean, the number one important thing is that our clients that have paid us money get what they were promised. So that's what I'm focused on now. Whether that's Ari filling in for some of the things she was doing or these other people in my network that I really have respect for filling in, and I'll just pay them. I'll take a loss on it, but the most important thing is the clients are taken care of and that the brand is not tarnished by this whole thing. And also, I just wanted to end with what lesson can I learn from this? And I kind of regret that I didn't just end things swiftly and cleanly when I found out about the Europe thing, because at that moment, I knew that I felt like I could not trust her anymore. Look, and I'm sure she'll disagree and say that, whatever, I don't know. But there's two sides to every story, right? But I feel that I couldn't trust her anymore after that. And I should have just ended things swiftly and cleanly then, made things right with the clients, instead of letting things kind of hang in limbo. But it's kind of a weird situation because we had these contracts with these clients that weren't complete yet. And I was like, well, if we end it now, it's going to get really awkward. But that ended up happening anyway. So it would have been better just to end things. And I feel like I've learned this lesson in the past. Like there have been employees where I've given them 2 weeks because I was worried about the transition, okay, well, we have to lay you off, but we'll give you 2 weeks to help with the transition. But then while they're there, they're hanging around and spreading rumors and spreading negativity throughout the other employees. And I have literally talked about this before with other people and said, I learned that you really just have to cut things off cleanly and just go your separate ways. And this is reinforcing that again. I already knew this, but I went against my better judgment. And I would even take it a step further and say, as soon as you even have that thought that this employee should no longer be part of the team, that is already sort of making the decision that is true. I really believe that, because if you think about the good employees you have, that thought never crosses your mind. I mean, Ari's been on my team for 10 years. He's the most loyal, most hardworking person. I've never gotten any complaints about him. And I would never for 1 second think that I couldn't trust him. Like if someone even came to me and said that, like, oh, like I heard Ari's moving to Europe, I'd be like, no, he's not. He would have talked about it with me a long time ago if that were true. So anyway, that's where we're at. So what's the future of the podcast look like? I would like to keep it going, probably not weekly, but I'd like to bring on special guests. I'd like to come on with Chef Ari and maybe get Celia more involved. Celia's still employed at Goodnature. She does a lot of our branding work, and she's doing all the branding and graphic design for our clients. Has been great. She is really passionate about what she does, and I really like having her part of the team. She's always been doing a lot of the work behind the scenes on, Olivia's branding stuff anyway. And she gave this great presentation at School of Juice about how to run an engaging social media program. And she's gave this great presentation about developing a brand on the Level Up call. Like she's just really motivated, hardworking young person. And I'm really excited to see, grow with our company. So I might have her come on and talk about some stuff, and special guests, other people in the industry. So keep the podcast going. I don't know how frequent, but you guys can keep following, keep listening. And I apologize about things going this way with Olivia. Like it obviously wasn't what I intended. And I don't know, maybe I'm being too emotional about everything, but it's just how I feel. And so thank you for being a listener. Thank you for being part of the Goodnature family. If anybody has any questions, reach out. Go ahead and send an email to radio@goodnature.com, and I'll get back to you. And of course, you can be on the Facebook group. I think we have like 6,000 members now, Goodnature Juicing. And lots of exciting stuff coming up in the future. The new machine is awesome, Hummingbird. I've got the prototype at my house now, shooting some video content. We'll start to post some of that soon. Shipping in September, hopefully. It's still looking like we haven't had any delays yet from our vendors, but things, with the new product launch, it's always a risk. There's lots of moving parts. But so far, looks like we will begin shipping in September. And all right, that's it. Thanks, everybody. Peace.
My way, I made lots of juice, and now I feel a boost. Baby say, oh, it's the way I make my juice. Pressing fruits and roots. This week I did it my way. Baby say, oh, now let's have some fun. There is nothing greater than Fridays at Goodnature.